Hello everyone, this is Alex from IELTS Champion. I took the IELTS test a few weeks ago and scored 9.0. That's the top overall mark anyone can get in the IELTS exam. But I nearly didn't get into the exam room because there are things that I didn't know about that you need to know about before you take that exam. So here are my top 5 pieces of advice, things to prepare for, things to be aware of before test day. So number 1, make sure you wear the right clothes. This sounds really obvious, but I was on holiday in the Philippines and I decided to take the IELTS spontaneously. So I took the IELTS without a plan, and that meant that I did not have formal clothes. In fact, I didn't really have many clothes apart from shorts and t-shirts. So I showed up to the exam wearing shorts, a t-shirt and some trainers. And the man on the door, the security man, did not want to let me in. He said, you have to be wearing trousers to get into the building. This is for a man, of course. Luckily, I had one pair of trousers in my bag, so I could get changed and get into the exam. If I hadn't had the trousers, I would not have got into the exam. The next thing to think about is making sure your documents are the same as when you booked the test. I went into the exam and saw a man being refused because his passport had changed since he booked the test, and he did not tell the IELTS that his document had changed. So he had to give up the exam on that day, he had to book a new exam date, and he had to pay again for a second time to take the same exam. So make sure if anything changes after you book your test, make sure you tell the IELTS that you've changed. Number 3 is to bring extra ID. This is because the passport is needed at all times during the exam. But in other places, for me, when I needed to hand in my phone, I also needed some ID, a driving license or something like that, to go with my phone. So bring something extra to identify yourself with. Number 4 is to be early. So if you read your letter before you go into the exam, they will tell you to be at least an hour early for the exam. So if you start at 9 a.m., be there at 8 a.m. because it takes a long time to register everybody for the exam. And if you get there too late, you won't get in. And finally, last but not least, number 5, try not to drink too much before the exam. This sounds a bit funny, but I drank 2 big cups of tea before I went in, and do you know what? You don't get a toilet break during the exam. So I was sat there all the way through the listening, all the way through the reading, and then I thought I really need the toilet. And nobody presses pause. If you want to go to the toilet, you have to put up your hand, and then you have to go and put your fingerprint into a machine. And for me, the fingerprint machine was not working, so it took a long time. And then to go to the toilet with an invigilator standing by, and then coming back, and the same fingerprint procedure before I could get back to my chair. So it was it was about 5 minutes that I had to take out, and if you can avoid it, then it's best to avoid it. So try not to drink too much tea or coffee before you go into the exam. So that's it for my 5 tips for this time. Make sure you click subscribe if you want to hear more about my journey to 9.0 in IELTS. If you want to hear more about the computer-based exam, which is the exam I took, then stay tuned and put your comments below if there's anything else that you want to share about test day advice. See you soon.